Hey everybody! So before we pack our gear away and wash it and spread it to the four winds, we thought we'd do a gear review, the gear we used on the Arizona Trail. Um, and hopefully this will help you.
Everybody's different though, so you can take it as a base start and make your own
Choices.
substitutions.
Yeah, like some people like to cold soak, we like to hot soak. Everybody's going to have different uh, clothes, but basically it's all going to be the same stuff. We're all out there doing the same thing, so there's going to be changes, differences, but more or less it's going to be the same. So we hope this will be helpful to you if you're planning a through hike of the Arizona Trail or anywhere else for that matter. It's basically the same gear that we used in Europe.
If you haven't ever done a through hike, this might be your chance. And get some ideas anyway.
Okay, well, without further ado, let's get into it. This is the gear we used for the last 2 weeks of the trail, the last 200 miles. But it's also essentially the same gear that we used at the beginning of the trail for the first 600 miles. So first of all, I used an Osprey Exos 48 backpack, which was covered in a separate review, so I'm not going to say any more about that. And I took a pack cover, a sil nylon Sea to Summit pack cover, which we never used. It never rained on us, so it didn't need that. For footwear, I used oboes, and for me a 7.5 wide. The nice thing about these oboe shoes is that they do come in wide sizes, and your feet tend to expand a little bit when you're doing long hikes, especially in the toes, so it's nice to have a wide toe box. Used a ground sheet with the Z-Packed Triplex tent. This we've also covered in a separate video, so I'm not going to say any more about that. Excuse me. We used these little pole protectors that I made from duct tape, kind of gorilla tape, and pipe padding insulation, pipe insulation. That protects the pockets that hold the pole handles, the pockets in the tent that hold the pole handles, so the pockets in the tent don't get abraded and have holes worn in them. And then I carry a little ditty bag to keep the tent stakes in, and I use 2 MSR mini groundhogs and 8 stakes that came with the Tentegrity tent from Sierra Design, so a little bit lighter than the groundhogs. And they work quite well actually, I was surprised. First time I tried them. A little Z-Rest sit pad, very handy, keeps your bottom clean. And then for a stove system, we used a Jetboil, I think it's a Mighty Mo, anyway, it's a 1 litre Jetboil, and I carried a ½ pound fuel canister, which lasts for about a week, or 6 days. So I carried one to the Grand Canyon for Flagstaff, and then I bought another one at the Grand Canyon and carried that north. That worked well most of the time, except this all-at-camp fuel canister acts like butane. It doesn't work very well in high altitude, low temperatures, so I would never buy one of these again. I'd stick with a Jetboil or an MSR fuel. For water filtration, we use the Gravity Works platypus system. It's gravity fed, so we have the dirty water container, and then we use an MSR silt stopper, plugs in here. That feeds into the main filter, and the main filter then, through a long tube, goes into the clean water bag. So I actually carried an extra clean water bag which we use for dirty water, so I had to keep the two separate. But our total carrying capacity for water with these 2 smart water bottles was 4.5 litres for myself, and Short Trip also carried some. So our total capacity was 6 or 7 litres. Sunscreen, soap, and a ditty bag containing a spoon, and salt and pepper, And then this is a Z-Packs food sack, bowl and mug. And then we were worried about the possibility of critters getting into our food, so we carried a lock sack, but we never used it, and we never had a problem with critters getting in our food. And of course, always have a stash of Ziploc bags. And then moving to the other side, which is mostly clothes, I carried a mountain hardware rain jacket, which I bought for 1/3 price at Sierra Trading Post. So that was a good deal. It's a $200 jacket I bought for $60. I wore that quite a few times. Mountain Laurel Designs over mitts, waterproof, which we never used because it never rained. We probably should have used them against the cold, because sometimes just wearing these smart wool mittens, my fingers got really cold the last few days. So I probably should have just put these over these, and it would have kept me a bit warmer. But no, it was okay. And then for the sleeping system, I used a Thermarest Neo X-Lite regular length. And I did have one problem with this. I got a puncture the day we climbed out the Grand Canyon. That night my Thermarest was leaking, and I kept having to blow it up every hour, so I didn't get much sleep that night. But fortunately, the next day I was able to find and repair the hole with tenacious tape. Because it was cold, we took Feathered Friends down jacket. This is a Hyperion men's down jacket that we covered in a previous video along with the sleeping bag, so I'm not going to say any more about that. That's fabulous. And also took Montbell down pants, which I don't normally use, but it was cold enough that I actually slept in these and the Feathered Friends down jacket inside the Feathered Friends sleeping bag, and that kept me toasty warm at night. Otherwise it was too cold. Sometimes I'd go to bed without the down pants on, but in the middle of the night I'd have to put the down pants on because my legs were getting cold. And underneath the down as my intermediate warm layer, I have a Mammut half-zip fleece jacket, and Quechua, a European brand, micro fleece long pants, and a Mountain Hardware fleece beanie. So those themselves are quite warm. I never hiked with the down on. And excuse me, for sleeping again, I used these Patagonia Capilene long underwear. I think they're lightweight. I'm not sure, they're possibly medium, but you know, they mostly kept me warm. But like I say, sometimes I had to wear the down at night also. And all these clothes I kept in a Outdoor Research waterproof 10-litre bag. I think it's 10 litre. But it's a waterproof bag, which wasn't an issue because it didn't rain. And then when I was hiking during the day, as soon as I warmed up enough, I'd switch out of the Capilene and put on this Ex Officio long sleeve shirt, which is also a bug repellent shirt. For sleeping I used possum down socks, which I bought from Z-Packs. These are quite warm, plenty warm for me. They were comfortable, just regular thick socks, but they're very light. And then for hiking I had 2 pairs of Darn Tough socks. Darn Tough socks are the bomb for hiking, because Darn Tough will repair them when they wear out, which they always do eventually. Underwear, 2 pairs of Ex Officio underpants. For my shorts, which I would hike in during the day and even put on over my down at night if I was sitting out, I used my $5 Walmart men's swimming shorts.
Irish green.
Yeah, well, these are the bomb too. These last a long time. I know where. I have a little washcloth which I use for taking a shower and just cleaning up, or wiping condensation off the tent. But on this particular 2-week, actually it was an 11-day trip, we never had any problems with condensation. It's really dry. Sun gloves, these are well, UPF 50, but I forget who makes them. Let's see. Yeah, don't know. But I bought these on Amazon. And of course every through hiker has to have a pair of dirty girl gaiters. So I have a pair of dirty girl gaiters. I have a sun hat with a neck flap. I actually bought in Japan after I lost my previous hat in the Tokyo train station. So that's useful. And then ditty bags. I have a Cedar Summit small 2 litre, 1.5 litre ditty bag that contains first aid items, and this is first aid not just for ourselves but also for our gear. So we got extra MSR pre-filters, drugs, a magnifying loop 10x, what else we got, seam grip, band-aids, q-tips, nail clippers, tweezers, these are water purification tablets in case there's a backup for the filter or for boiling water, spare cards for the phone, memory cards, and repair tape for the Z-Packs triplex tent. And then in the second ditty bag I carry all the electronics items. So I got a big 20 ampere hour battery so I could make videos along the trail, and then a bunch of different kinds of leads to charge all our electronics, earbuds, the USB plug-in wall charger, a little meter so I can make sure that the external battery is charging, a black diamond spot headlamp, so it's got 2 white and 1 red light, my wallet, a Manfrotto, a smartphone holder, a stick clip so that I can attach the phone to the end of the hiking pole, a miniature tripod, and a dead cat for the microphone, which I probably should use more than I do, sunglasses and reading glasses, and then a knife. I didn't bring a knife because in Europe we only use the knife to cut vegetables, and I thought, well, we're not going to be cooking any fresh vegetables out here, it's all going to be dehydrated, so I left the knife. And that was a big mistake because we actually did need it for several things. So Tim lent me his knife, so thanks Tim. And I think that's everything we carried. That's everything I carried.
How much does all that weigh, you think?
How much does it weigh? Well, I don't know. I think my base weight is running around 15 pounds. So it's light, but it's definitely not ultralight. Because as I've also said in a previous video, my doctor wants me to do weight-bearing exercise. So backpacking, I think, is probably the best weight-bearing exercise I can do. And it's always a toss-up between comfort and lightweight. So a lot of people opt to go stoveless and to cold soak, and that's not for me. I like hot food and I like hot coffee, so I'm going to carry the weight of the stove. Doesn't bother me.
And I'm glad he does. Thank you, Ridgewood. Shortcut here. And I am talking about all the gear that I brought on the Arizona Trail. It's everything, my whole life here for 11 days.
Well, yeah. Well, 2 months altogether.
This is my Z-Packs. I have some tiny carabiners here to hold the titanium trowel, and other gear.
So the backpack we've reviewed separately, so we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, that was in another review. So in the pack was my sleeping bag. Ridgewood carries the tent, and I carry the sleeping bag for 2 people, also reviewed previously. So Feathered Friends, very warm with 2 people. Part of my sleeping system is my Feathered Friends down jacket, which I love. It's an Elias brand model, which they brought back recently.
Part of your hiking system also.
I hiked in this coming into Flagstaff. It was freezing. Yeah, I love this jacket. Very light. I think it's 11 ounces. My down pants.
Montbell.
Montbell.
Same as mine.
My down booties.
Yeah, and that was a deal, like $15 on Amazon.
Made in China.
Oh, China. It's going to have a tariff put on it now. Good thing we bought it when we did.
And I like a balaclava. It's windproof, as well as my windproof gloves. So this one also acts as a fleece hat. And if I don't want to pull it over my face, I can use it as my hat. So it has a dual purpose. And my 3/4 length thermarest.
3/4 length for you. It's only half length for me.
It's 4 feet, so only 1 foot of my feet go past the thermarest, which is covered by my sit pad.
Aha! Dual purpose.
Which I put at the bottom of my feet. If Ridgeroot doesn't kick it away at night, I stay warm.
Accidentally.
My Ultra shoes, they're not perfect, but I find that they fit my feet the best. They're wide toe box. They're not durable. They've all kind of holes in them, so they're not waterproof anymore. The bottoms wear out quite quickly, and they used to wear here, but I guess they've made it a little bit better now, so they've lasted me, and that's what I used. I put in, this time, Dr. Scholl heel inserts, and I found my heel didn't have enough padding after a few weeks, so.
Well, that's that zero drop thing in the Ultra shoes, huh?
Maybe
they get the
yeah.
zero drop by not putting any padding in the heel.
Some of the Ultras models are thicker sole though, but then I find them not as stable. So these are the Lone Peak mid-length, mid-sole high tops. But I also use the down under inserts, which also work pretty well. I didn't use them this time. Take my hat, sun off my neck, and my sunglasses, sunglass case, darn tough socks.
They're the best.
And I also wear liner socks, REI liner socks. And of course, dirty girl gaiters.
What would hiking be without a dirty girl?
Which with high tops, the dirt doesn't seem to go in anyway, but they do keep your feet clean. And actually I ended up cutting these shoes because they were hitting the top of my feet. So I cut that band off.
Well, you were in pain.
It was, I couldn't go on hiking like that. So I borrowed a knife since we didn't have a knife. One of the hikers coming up saved me, and I borrowed his knife, thank you. And then that made it more bearable. But yeah.
Not the best.
Then the dirty girls saved the dirt from going in that hole that I cut.
And 2 dirty girls are better than 1.
Yes. Always. I do take a buff, which is good to cover your head when you're out a week with no shower and no shampoo and your hair is all
crazy.
So that works for that, as well as keeping your face out of the wind warm. My sun gloves and my face mask, which I got in Korea. Well, I ordered from Korea. It's a Korean face mask for the sun. A lot of people ask me why I wear this. It's not for the dust and to protect against germs or anything. It's for the sun, which I also wear sunscreen as well in a little bottle. And my extra underwear, ex officio, works great. I don't know how many years I've used ex officio. And my towel, small towel for showers when we can get them. My pee rag saves on the toilet paper. I don't take a bandana, but I had to show you this because we got it from Tim, who met us at the end of the trail and brought us back to Flagstaff.
Nice.
He gave us each one. Thank you so much for coming to pick us up. You really are an angel.
An angel of angels.
I also bring my driver's license ID and park pass. I should have brought.
Yeah, I should have brought. Always take a park pass. We didn't know.
When you walk in, they charge you for each person. So it would have been a $20 walk-in, but because of Tim, we went in with his park pass, which covered the whole car, and we didn't have to pay an individual price.
Yeah, but also for the
So-
camping, we had to pay the full price of the walk-in campground for you because you didn't have the park pass, and I got in for $3, so you paid
Yeah,
$6.
half price, seniors.
No, we had no idea, but yeah, if you have a park pass, always take it.
Right. That's all the water I carry. Usually lasts me a day. So 20 ounces, 22 ounces.
Yeah, especially now when it was cold.
But when we get ready to camp, then we'll go to a water source, and I have capacity for 2 more liters, and then it's a water carry to camp.
So we carried up to 6 liters.
Yeah.
Was the most. So we probably only ever needed 5 at the most.
My phone, which all the maps are on here, the GPS and the track, and it'll last me with my little, I don't have that, my little lipstick battery, about 5 or 6 days. Flashlight, same as Ridge Roots.
Black diamond spot.
A little box for my toiletries, my dental floss, and earplugs, and toothbrush, toothpaste, some Q-tips, and Kleenex. The out sack, which we never used. My Z-Packs food bag. I keep this in my pack, but I like to also take one that I keep on the outer mesh for lunch, so I don't have to keep opening my pack up. And then I put my lunch things in here. We carry separately our own lunches, our own breakfast, and our own water.
Yeah.
And dinners will split. Like, we took 6 dinners this time, so 3 and 3, but those dinners are good for 2 people. And Ridge Root made most of them. And my same cup and spoon, Cedar Summit, and this bowl that I got in Quechua
In France.
in France. Yeah, I love this bowl.
Looks like
You
a,
can attach it to the outside of your pack if you
Yeah.
want.
looks like a dog bowl, Andrew.
Yeah, perfect. Actually, it's not as big as Ridge Root's bowl.
I think it is because
But-
mine's more conical.
So I don't know if I get my share,
You do.
but and for rain gear, I brought the same outer mitts. Never had to use them.
Mountain ball.
My rain-proof pants, which came in handy when we were doing laundry,
I use my underwear.
and I have my rain jacket and outdoor research, windproof and rainproof jacket. Pack cover, which I didn't bring this time.
Oh, you were smart.
I saved an ounce or 2 there.
4 probably.
And this is the lipstick charger,
Anchor.
Anchor.
Bought from Amazon.
And I also had a little packet of Band-Aids and moleskin. That's it. Thank you for watching. and hope this has been helpful for you.
Just a quick addendum. We wouldn't be over the hills if we hadn't forgotten a few things. And one of the things I forgot to mention that we were carrying was an InReach Mini, and more on that later in another video. Another thing was the Compadel trekking poles, which we use not only for support when we're hiking, but they're also necessary for our tent, both the Sierra Designs Tensegrity and the Z-Pax Triplex. And in the first 600 miles of the Arizona Trail, we were carrying Go Light, Silver Dome, or Chrome Dome umbrellas. And also in the first 600 miles, instead of carrying and wearing at night, and sometimes in the morning, the Patagonia Capilene underwear, I was carrying Terramar silk long johns, tops and bottoms. But pretty much we covered everything in the videos. So hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching.